Why we're live.
No, yeah. That's what we need. Right. Hey,
We're rolling.
nice.
Cool.
Happy days.
Happy days, guys.
What you got there?
I've got a utopian beer.
Utopian beer.
Got given it for my birthday.
I love that. We're 5 seconds in and we're advertising.
Yeah. Well, we've got the class.
Cheers.
We can go. Cheers.
Yeah.
Cheers, guys.
Cheers.
This is nice. I'm glad we're actually doing this.
What are you adding that to?
Another utopian beer I had before I came out.
Oh, okay, that makes more sense. Put that in the middle so it's equal to all of us.
Yeah. They might sponsor us. Who knows?
Who does that?
Right. How can I get us started? Should I Google something?
If you want.
Recent movie news?
I mean, I just want to talk about The Matrix.
Okay. Oh, okay. Well, let's talk about
As
The
in the new
Matrix.
film,
Right,
or
I'm ready.
the...
Well, no, I don't want to talk about The Matrix, but I mean...
I know you have a bee in your bonnet about the new film, don't you?
Yeah, I love this bee. I love the bee that's in your bonnet about this.
Have neither of you seen it?
No.
Neither
You
of
haven't
us have seen
at all?
it. Yeah.
No.
What do you think it would be like? Have you...
Well, we're going off all the everything you've said about it, and the trailer that's got. I watched the trailer.
I watched the trailer and I was hyped.
It had so much promise.
I was slightly hyped.
It really
I think
did.
like new Morpheus threw me off because it was it's still Morpheus but like a younger Morpheus. Like he made himself into like.
It's
There
no.
is-
Well, this is kind of what I thought, and I'm still not quite sure. And the problem is, and I don't. Whatever I say in this, I'm not sure about because it's like the Morpheus. I think the Morpheus that they have in it he is like an agent, basically.
Yeah.
Who his body has been taken over or something, and then they like free him in some way. It's like the third film. You know how the third film.
Yeah.
What was it? Reloaded and
Revelations?
Revolutions.
Revolutions.
Revelations.
Revolutions.
Revolutions. That's what. Yeah.
Yeah.
So the third one's really complicated. Obviously, a lot of people have said about the bit at the end where the guy, the architect, is sort of talking about ergo, vis-a-vis, and such and such and so and so.
Will Ferrell doing the architect.
I was just going to say Will Ferrell doing Saturday Night Live.
Yeah.
Oh,
was
man.
it
I
Saturday
will
Night Live?
architect a world of pain all over your candy ass.
It was it? I think it was MTV Movie Awards.
It was.
Remember they did
yeah.
like they used to do some amazing stuff, but yeah, the like that is where I get like when I watch The Matrix, like a lot of me goes back to that.
It's hard to actually watch it now and take
Yeah.
it seriously.
Yeah.
But the thing is, and that's my main point about the Matrix films. What I said to you about the Matrix films is they worked because they were serious films. Because I mean, and it is hard for a science fiction film sometimes, like because you're introducing ideas that are the idea of the whole world is enslaved in this hive of shared consciousness in what the Matrix is.
Yeah.
But there's tiny bits of humour and stuff like that, like the lady in the red dress. There's little bits of humour around that, and my I think the only like humorous bit I can think of in the original Matrix film is when Neo comes to see Cypher during the night, and Cypher said, I don't even see the code anymore, all I see is blonde, brunette and redhead. And it goes over most people's heads. And when I watched the first Matrix film, I was 11. Completely went over my head. I watched it back and I'm like, oh, he's watching porn.
Yeah,
that's what he's doing. But the fucking resurrections, honestly, I thought we'd gone into the wrong film. Me and Lucy went and saw it, and to start with, it literally was like a Saturday Night Live sketch. Because the principle of it is that Thomas Anderson has been put back into the Matrix
But how?
with an element of control. I think like after...
But how is that possible? Because
Mr.
He's not alive.
Or is he? Yeah.
because
that's
of course
the
there's
thing.
multiple the ones,
Yes.
as we know from Reloaded.
Yeah.
Hey, I don't know. Hang on. Bring me up to speed.
Right,
on
so
this.
Reloaded. He
Have you
finds
seen the second two films?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
He goes to the
I like-
architect.
a long time ago.
In Revelations, the architect is basically like there have been 5 iterations of the Matrix so far, and within
Yeah.
each iteration of the Matrix, there was a man who was given like free reign to change things as he saw fit, and
okay.
that's the one. Basically, they put in a human element to adapt it to whatever the machines couldn't do, to make it as believable. I think to make it as a believable dream as possible. I think.
Yeah.
Isn't it also though that he carries a part of the code?
Yes.
So
well,
basically
yeah.
that code goes into the Matrix. It resets everything back to ground zero.
Yeah.
And it starts again.
So there's like
Yeah.
there's a few. I watched this when I was like in my teens, didn't really know what was going on. Like I loved the films, but like, so favorite character has got to be the keymaker.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
What a guy! You can just like have a
pretty
key,
cool.
like go into like a completely
When-
different place, kind of like a Doctor
When-
Strange.
When
kind
they're on the back
portal,
of the
isn't it?
truck and
Yeah.
Trinity's like, I need a hack for a Ducati motorcycle, and he just pulls out a key and she's
Yeah.
like, you are handy.
Yeah,
Um,
Well,
Yeah.
well, there you go. That's a little bit of humour.
It is a little bit of humour, and
And-
they used it sparingly and they used it well. And literally in Resurrections, the idea is that Thomas Anderson is a video game developer who wrote The Matrix as games and stuff.
Right.
And they are trying to make a fourth part to this game.
Okay.
Which is and it goes through the same, essentially the same, some of the same discussions must have been to make the fourth Matrix film. So it's got this really meta element to it where they're talking about
Right.
it and it being in itself it.
So
And-
woke.
Yeah, absolutely. And the thing was as well that, and one thing I would 100% say, Lana Wachowski, the Wachowskis in general, two of my
Yeah.
favourite filmmakers, V for Vendetta, The Matrix, Cloud Atlas.
They did-
like
Those films.
yeah.
I didn't know
No
they did
way.
V for Vendetta. V for
I think they
Vendetta-
did V for Vendetta. Can we
Well,
make
V
sure
for
I'm not
Vendetta
lying?
is
That's
Hugo Weaving,
amazing.
isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it makes sense.
Yeah.
Let me have a look.
Well, I told
Okay.
you guys the story that I thought for years it was Rowan Atkinson behind the mask. Because it sounds like it. Like,
Right.
It has that weird kind of...
Let me try and spell.
But basically,
Wachowski.
basically, Lana Wachowski. Well, the Wachowskis were basically they were kind of, from what I understood, they were kind of bullied into making this fourth film, and they
right
held out
first
against it so much. And even
Yeah.
when the pandemic happened, they were like, we really don't want to do this, and they tried everything they could. And I think what it was is basically, if you try and get a child to do their homework under duress, it will be a bit rubbish, I think. And that's kind of like Lana Wachowski. I think she basically just went, I'm going to kill this franchise here because I just don't want to do any more to it.
Yeah.
There was 3 films, they were great. She didn't want it to be the next MCU. She didn't want it to be the next Marvel film. I'm assuming this is where she went because I cannot believe someone who made The Matrix and who made V for Vendetta and who made Cloud Atlas. And Cloud Atlas is a weird one, but it is still a beautiful film.
I've never seen it.
I can't
Well, they
believe that she went, I'm going to make this film, and watched it and went, yeah, I'm proud of that. I'm going to put that out.
They did.
I'm sorry to...
But do you think it's because she wasn't working with her sibling? Do you think it was...
Maybe there's an element of that, but I mean, she's still
So
an incredible filmmaker in her own right.
They, or she, I don't know if they both did it, the sisters,
Yeah.
but they wrote V for Vendetta.
Yes.
They did the screenplay for it, but they didn't
Did someone else direct it?
direct it.
Yeah.
It was actually based off a graphic novel by Alan Moore.
Alan Moore,
Is
yeah.
that correct?
Yeah, and he hates that they made a film of it. He's a really...
It's a solid film, though.
Best thing about The Matrix
Huge,
for me
yeah.
was Enter the Matrix, the game. PS2
Oh,
game.
yeah. Is this the one where
It's
you...
incredible.
Well, that's
Is it
kind of what they're
Ghost?
referencing
Yeah.
in...
What's the character called in that? Ghost and Niobe. You basically play as
Yeah.
those two, don't you?
Yeah.
It was really cool. It had a really cool mechanic. You could flip around rules.
We had
and stuff.
combos and stuff. It was like Tekken.
It was
but,
great.
Kind
Yeah.
of going through. It was an incredible game.
But like...
Cloud
even
Atlas.
even like in I think is it Reloaded where they have the courtyard scene where he's fighting the thousands of Agent
I
Smiths
loved
and stuff.
that scene.
I
Yeah.
loved it as well.
But when I first saw that film, I was 12 years... I think I was like 12 or 13 or something.
Yeah.
And to me, it was like the coolest thing ever.
Was that
Absolutely,
where
yeah.
he's got the pole
The
and he's
pole,
like...
yeah.
But it's the
Spin
way
around,
the music
yeah.
syncs with it as well. There's a bit in it where like he gets that pole and it's like dun 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 and like
Yeah.
smashes it around. It's so
Yeah.
epic. And then he puts it down and the music syncs up as he spins around and hits something. There's
Yeah.
a bit of humour
But
in
then
that
he's
as well.
Oh
then
my
he's
God,
like
yeah.
running around it, and the camera's just like following him, running around like kicking a few
Yeah.
Hugo Weaving
And I
to
mean,
the face.
like, can we just do like? Because think of that. Can we just do this? Can you bring up YouTube? We can't show the video, but we can do the audio and stuff. That's
of course
fine.
we can.
Can you bring up? Just type in the Matrix minigun scene.
Okay.
And literally, when I get drunk, I watch this and properly get a boner. I really do.
Is it-
It's so.
It's like a real pep talk.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
Is
Like
this
a
the bit
boost.
with Morpheus in the chair?
Yeah, and you
Yeah.
just hear like Hugo weaving.
Yeah,
I just
yeah.
want you guys to watch it and just see if you. Because how long is it since you saw the Matrix?
Maybe 2 years ago now.
Yeah, I think
yeah,
it was-
okay.
yeah.
I think during
So
lockdown
is
we
it-
watched the
yeah,
three films.
yeah. Well,
Which
we're
is-
gonna get. Oh, it's nice that we've got the skip survey instead of like an ad.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
good.
Right. Okay.
But like, just like skip it along a bit. We'll edit this. And it's just like Agent Smith saying, "No."
And you knew how many arrows to click there to get to the bit. didn't you?
Look at this. Like every
Yeah.
frame of this is golden.
It's so
Wait for
good.
to watch the bullets falling down. It's just like,
Well, how much of a bonus do you have right
oh
now?
my god, I'm so hard right now.
It's his face. It's his face.
Yeah. It's all the slow motion as well.
It's
Yeah.
so good.
And it's incredibly visible because you've got all the practical effects.
Yeah.
As well.
I mean, can you imagine how many times they had to shoot and film this and stuff? Like,
It's so cool.
just blows him away. And
Super duper real.
there's like, so that's the Matrix for me. Not even like the hallway scene or anything else. It is just, it's this grittiness. It's this like soft focus. It's the film noir kind of element of it. The fucking Resurrections was like a Disney film. And
Yeah.
in terms of action scenes, it's awful. There is nothing. There is nothing that even resembles it. The Merovingian shows up at one point and he looks like a crackhead who's just like grown his hair out and let his teeth go to hell, and he just screams something weird at them, and then they fight their minions for a bit, and it's just nothing exciting. And
so-
then like at the end they're trying to escape, and there's like Trinity's on a motorcycle and Neo's on the back, and all he does is this, and he just pushes people away, because there's this thing they have in it, they call it swarm mode, where basically they can make thousands of agents out of normal people, so it all turns into a zombie film, and you're just like, what the hell? Like, the machines would never have done that. That's
Well, they used
just
to
crazy.
do this, didn't they? They used
Yeah.
to like credit card you. In
Yeah,
checks,
yeah,
and then-
absolutely. But then there's a bit where they're all like there, and near the end, and they have to get up on this building, and they're like, Neo, can you still fly? And he's like, I don't know. And he goes like this, he goes, and he raises like 6 inches off the floor,
Does he
and then
rip-
he just comes back down again, and he's like,
Does he do the floor ripple thing?
it does, but then it doesn't work, and he goes, no, I guess I can't do that anymore.
Well,
and it's just like,
right.
oh god.
I need to watch the film, obviously, but why can't he? Is he the same Neo then?
I don't know, and I don't care.
Yeah.
I
No one
really,
gives a shit anymore.
really
They-
don't. And the thing is
confused.
that, and it genuinely is, like, and I, like, Lana Wachowski was the only one who directed this. I don't think Lily had anything to do with it, but like, they knew how important, like, the subway fight scene in the original Matrix, the hallway scene, the helicopter scene, the stuff in the real world with Cypher, all of that kind of stuff, and just the dialogue and everything. And like, there is in like one scene of the original Matrix film, there is more like complexity and intelligence and just love than there is in the whole of Resurrections. And literally that bit at the end where like he tries to fly and he doesn't, Lucy literally looked at me and she was like, can we please fucking
Can
go
we go?
home?
Yeah.
And I couldn't believe it. And the worst thing was, like, I watched the trailers and stuff, and I was so excited. And I was so excited when I heard the reworked version of Wake Up, that song that they use, the Rage Against the Machine song that they use at the end. Yeah. And they played a version of it at the end of the film, because I watched all the credits as well, because I thought, I'm going to give this its due diligence and see if there's something that redeems it in any way. And they did this horrible cover of Wake Up. Like, they got some punky band, this girl just going, wake up! Oh.
See, that's disappointing as well.
Every element of it, and like they're talking about how to make the new Matrix film, and the guy's like, the Matrix is all about. Well, 'cause what I just did was as serious as what they did in the film.
That's a real shame.
If not
It's
better.
such a shame. It's so painful.
Well, like this, like the scene. So like the highway chase with the keymaker on the top of the
in
truck.
Reloaded,
like,
yeah.
That's my favourite
Oh my god.
ever That's like my
when the trucks
when
like
the
yin
trucks
and yang
and
into
then,
each other like that.
and it goes all
great
slow, and then Neo.
And
Like,
that's the thing, those big practical setups, because they built the whole highway scene, they built the trucks and everything.
Yeah.
And what they did was they basically went, what would happen if you crushed two semi-trucks into each other at full speed?
Yeah.
How would that look? What would you do? What would it be like? And they took none of those risks in the fourth film. They didn't do anything that even challenged the audience slightly, apart from challenging their fucking attention spans.
Does it
Yeah.
have this like green filter?
Oh, barely. I mean, yeah.
You know, 'cause they all have that sort of green
no,
kind of
because what I
filter,
think I noticed, and like someone else can correct me if I'm wrong, but like in obviously, so in the original Matrix films, yes, the green is the sort of the filter which is the Matrix,
and
and
in
it's
the real
blue
world,
which is in the
it's
real
blue.
world. and
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah.
But they kind of have both of them
Oh.
overgoing each other in the sort of in the opening scenes of the Matrix Resurrections,
So
and
it
the opening
doesn't
scene.
make any sense.
The opening scene of the Matrix Resurrections is the opening scene from the first film, but with different characters. It's the bit where Trinity's in the room and
Yes.
stuff.
It's just the kind of
Yeah.
like opera.
Yeah.
But there's yeah.
But oh, this bit's
Yeah,
so
Morpheus
good.
with a sword.
With a
Yeah.
samurai sword.
Yeah. He
like-
just and it's the way like
and so much sophistication
Knife,
when they're just kind of like when they talk about like you always said the freeway was suicide, and he's like,
Yes.
let us hope that I was wrong.
yeah.
Somehow that
Oh,
stopped the car.
God.
Only went through the doors. But
Yeah,
that's cool.
somehow.
Yeah, he
right.
slashed a tire and stuff. You know.
And
And
then-
then he's got a semi-auto pistol.
And then.
See,
It's so good.
It's big. But then, hang on, the virus is like.
Yeah.
But, so what happened to them? I don't know. Like, because they're like undefeatable, right?
I mean, well, I guess
That
the thing was they
that
could
thing where
always-
they're in the car park and then they're in.
They can
about
always
they're in
move
the-
to somewhere else, but it's like in Chronicles of Riddick when the guy can spread from one place to another.
Oh, yeah.
But if
Yeah.
there's two fatal things happening at each end,
Yeah.
then they can't get away from it. So,
Okay.
yeah.
Think about
And then
Matrix.
Keymaker. And fucking my god, Carrie Ann Moss in a PVC catsuit. I'm a happily married man, but fucking hell,
Riding a motorbike.
so good.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. It's
That's-
pretty like Anne Hathaway, Catwoman
Yeah.
kind of thing. But like this,
I mean, it's-
the look. Well, the viruses for me.
Yeah.
that's a
Sorry, I
that's
just
a
love the music.
that's a
It's so
look.
good, though.
That's a look.
Yeah. Yeah.
I feel like that's well.
But the- you
Maybe
know, it's-
maybe next Halloween maybe it goes like 3 virus twins.
Yeah.
The virus triplets.
The virus.
We have become
triplets.
agitated.
Oh, man.
but that's the thing about the Matrix, right?
Can we just turn this down? I don't know how much
No,
it's
I've
going to
always-
affect the.
Yeah,
I've
know,
always,
it's
thing.
I've always said this that like, I love Keanu and I love Neo and all that, but actually the side characters like Morpheus, Trinity and stuff are probably more interesting, and you want to see more of them.
Tank and Dozer
Absolutely,
and all that
yeah.
stuff. Yeah,
They have more badass moments, really, like that bit there with Morpheus on the
Yeah.
bridge with the samurai sword and everything.
Well, this
But
thing,
no.
because all that Neo is doing in this moment is flying from 500 miles away,
Yeah.
which is just cool in itself.
Because he was at the
Yeah.
Merovingian's house, right?
You're not going to believe this. You're up in the mountains. It's
Yeah.
like, really? Again, that's the only funny thing in the film.
Yeah.
But it makes sense actually that the scene works so well because the stakes are high. These guys aren't
Yeah.
Neo. They can't survive fighting agents.
They can't survive driving into a car
Yeah, I was just gonna
at
say.
140 miles an hour
Like,
either. So
They're
it's-
real people driving
Yeah.
motorbikes, like into traffic.
and, you know,
But
That's
stuff
probably
like
the
this-
most.
Yeah.
stuff like this really kind of like it's important, I think, like in everyday life. I mean, I base a lot of my life around like just how Trinity is in a life and death situation here, and she's just calm and composed, because if she's anything else then she's dead.
Yeah.
And that's kind of how you have to be. I'm a tree surgeon, and I'm up in a tree and stuff. I'm like, oh my god, if I hyperventilate and like don't like this, it's gonna screw
Yeah.
up. But instead,
Chop
look at
yourself in
Morpheus.
half with a
Morpheus
chainsaw.
is on the roof of a semi truck with a samurai sword, and he looks calm as anything,
Yeah.
which is great.
I wish I looked.
And he's balancing on the handle. And now he's doing
look
the
at him.
splits.
That's such a Jean-Claude Van Damme thing. though,
Yeah.
isn't
Oh
it?
man, it's wonderful, absolutely wonderful.
It's definitely a product of the era as well, though. That's probably why the fourth one would never work. You know, when some films should just be left alone. I honestly believe that The Matrix should just been left alone.
Yeah, but they could have done something great with it. They really could have.
Well-
I mean, pick on something else. Something obviously. How many MCU films are there now? 20, 22?
There's
You
a
include
few.
all the Thors
There might
and all
be
the stuff
25.
and the Hulk films.
I should know I love them, but yeah.
But
like
for Robert Downey Jr.'s time, I would have said that if they did more Sherlock Holmes films, the two Sherlock Holmes films are two of my favourite films.
They're really
They're
good,
such
films.
brilliant fun. They're really solid. Guy Ritchie has had a few stinkers in his time, but he's also he's hit things really good. And I'm just like, come on, where's more of them? But they're not the popcorn Disney films that people want to see. And this was it. I think from what I read and what I understood, Lana Wachowski was just bullied and bullied and bullied by Warner. I think it's Warner Bros. She was like, come on, make another one. Come on, make another one. And she resisted for decades, basically, because these films came out in 2002? The first film was 99?
2003.
It's a shame.
Matrix Reloaded, 2003.
Yeah, it's a shame because Keanu Reeves is having a bit of a. Everyone loves him at the moment because of John Wick. Of course, the director of that, I believe, was the stunt coordinator.
Chad Stileski.
For the Matrix films.
Chad Stileski is Trinity's husband in The Matrix Resurrections. I think.
No way.
You have to double check that. Which is another kind of meta thing.
Okay.
Which is because they basically they make it as though because he was Keanu Reeves' stunt double in the original Matrix films. And the idea is that because he's playing her husband in the real world, she has theoretically ended up still marrying a version of Neo. And I was just
Okay.
Oh, that's interesting.
So it's a rom-com.
Just fuck me. It was so.
What bothered me about the new one, I think maybe was the reason I didn't watch it, other than being super busy all the time. But like the fact that it's just John Wick, like.
Yeah.
Neo's
got
kind of
the
like
long hair.
Yeah, it's like
he's...
beard, like.
But if it
Neo's
was
like kind of jarhead, kind of like just like
slick back,
like well shaved, like
He's meant to be a messiah type figure, and
he must have been filming John Wick at the time.
But Neo, if anything, in Matrix Resurrections, Neo, if anything, is kind of geriatric compared to John Wick. He hardly does anything for the whole film.
Yeah,
and. It was just painful because the John Wick films are so good.
Oh, they are so good. I watched the second one randomly. It was on Netflix.
I've seen two of them.
I've seen one,
1,
2 and 3. I think they're making a fourth one, and they're making a series, I believe, on Netflix based on the Hotel Continental on it. Which is really cool.
Yeah.
I absolutely love them. I think they're brilliant. They have enough. They've got amazing fight scenes. There's humour in them.
There's loads of humour in those films. I think. My favourite scene from that is where Viggo confronts his son about killing John Wick's dog and stuff.
Yeah.
And he's just like, we called him Baba Yaga. And he's like, the boogeyman? Not exactly. John was the one you sent to kill the fucking boogeyman. And I get goosebumps now. It's just
it's iconic, isn't it?
I don't know who that actor is, the Russian dude, but he's so good.
He's really famous with the slick back sort of long hair.
The older guy.
Yeah.
And there's just that scene. There's that scene where he's just smoking a joint, isn't he? In the first film, he just lights a joint. He's just like, he's just hearing all this information about John killing all of his guys. So you're like, oh my god.
What's the bit he says to his son in it? It's not what you did.
It's who you did it to.
Yeah. And then you're like, oh shit, here we go.
And so much is set up from that, where he's like...
It's the bit when he says about how he once saw John kill a man with a pencil in a bar. An effing pencil.
Yeah. And this is it, isn't it? Well, the Matrix...
Sorry guys, I'm just like...
I
love
watching
this bit.
I remember in the cinema properly, I was so
And then
excited.
there's fire, and then he gets there.
And I love that these two are just suspended in air, because what would happen to
cool.
two people if they were just there? And then Neo's got them because he can move faster than explosions, which is just awesome.
Does a little spin.
They didn't. Yeah. I'm going to stop talking about the Matrix Resurrections now, because I think me and the comments section on IMDb have just crucified them enough as it is.
It's a funny thing though with the Matrix though. Just a quick one, because some people hate the second and third film. They love the first film. A lot of people are like, "Oh, first one's a great sci-fi film and just its own right." I like the whole trilogy.
I do as well.
There is a fourth film now, but going by your thinking, it's not very good. So let's assume it's just a good trilogy, right?
Yeah.
But the first film does always feel a little bit disconnected to the second and third film. It has a kind of...
They gave them a bigger budget for the second two, I think. And I think also they tried to overreach a bit more.
Yeah.
Because the original Matrix was... the thing is, it wasn't groundbreaking in terms of special effects. I think John Gator won an Oscar for Bullet Time and for the special effects.
Well, it was amazing. It was just the whole, with all the pillars blowing up.
Yeah. Well, do you know?
Real.
Cool, and you know when they do the explosion at the end, which comes out the elevator. Mm-hmm. Do you know what they did? They filmed that upside down. Because you watch it, the fire comes out like lava and it spreads like this liquid over the floor.
That's cool.
But obviously heat doesn't do that, heat rises.
Yeah.
So what it actually was, it was a complete set, turned upside down, and they detonated it inside the elevator, got the pyrotechnics to come out, so it rushes across the ceiling, which they've made to look like the floor.
That's
so
cool.
It had that beauty, because they were so, that's visionary, going, I want the fire to look just like this. And in the third film, with the raindrops at the end, they spent 2 months trying to make the perfect raindrop to get it just right, so it was just heavy enough and thick enough so that it looked cool. I mean,
does it stop? Like, am I being crazy? Like, isn't there a bit like where they're in like Times Square or something, aren't they? Or
in the big Red Lady program, the Lady in the Red Dress program,
But they're it's like Anderson and the agent, whatever.
Yeah.
Like, and it's raining, and then the rain kind of stops.
Oh yeah, the third film. Yeah.
Like, am I going crazy? Or
I think it does.
No, I think
Smith
it did.
shows he's in control of everything, isn't it?
Yeah.
He's like,
stops it, but he's like seeing code and blah, blah, blah. Yeah. I'm going to find that because I actually want to see that too.
But no, it was just so, it was so special.
I think the conclusion here is they should have just left it, that series
I
alone.
really think they should have done it again.
Leave it alone.
Leave it alone. Or do a Netflix series that's just Morpheus and Trinity. Doing their... did she die? She just died in the third one, didn't she?
Oh God, I don't know.
She
dies in the third one, yeah.
Just do a Morpheus series. That would be cool, wouldn't it? Like, set in, like, the rebuilding of Zion and everything. And, that would be cool. Like,
but with Lawrence Fishburne, I don't think he would do it again.
Yeah. This is that bit.
Why do you persist, Mr. Anderson? Why? Because I choose to.
Hugo Weaving is incredible in it as well.
We can have some volume, I think. I don't know what the film's going to be like. I'll turn it that way so it doesn't get the full blast of it. But yeah.
Hugo Weaving, I mean, this like bad guy Elrond, like that sucks.
But also dude
Elrond's
from Priscilla, Queen of the Desert.
Yeah. It's actually pretty bad when you watch it back.
But it has.
When you watch it on a small screen like this.
But it does have its own charm. I think that's.
Fully.
I think if you're a fan, you can embrace it.
Well, it's super over the top, isn't it?
It's
like the
it's
guns,
the same.
Like the slow mo guns, then all the bullets like falling out the gun.
It's the same kind of fandom as Star Wars. You can embrace the flaws.
And the
love it
thing
so
as
much.
well is like this stuff with like the wires and everything. That's kind of like the very traditional Asian Hong Kong style of filmmaking that Jackie Chan made famous with jumping on the wires and stuff. But
it's like Crouching Tiger, isn't it?
Yeah. And so they paid so much homage to all of that stuff. I remember like years ago in like 2005, a friend of mine lent me like the 10-disc edition. So it was the 3 films on DVD, and there were 6 other discs. One was just about the special effects. One was about the philosophy behind the Matrix, because there's so much about Rene Descartes and the idea of like being a brain in a vat, and just being fed stimuli by an evil genius, which is exactly this, was cookie to ergo sum. There's so much about like Buddhism and reincarnation, and that's a big thing. From the end of the third film here as well, when he goes to fight the machines, that image of a man just like with energy all around him and stuff, that's such an important image in terms of Buddhism and energy cycles and stuff. And there was just so much to it, and I can't ever imagine they made a making of The Matrix Resurrections, because what would they have said that was in the slightest bit interesting? Like, it just...
We were just trying to like tap into like a bit of that Matrix money.
Again, that's it.
What we should do is we should film us watching the Matrix, this new Matrix film.
Yeah.
Just to watch his reaction.
The thing is, we are. We kind of are.
No, we're watching the old one. We're watching the better
to hear
one.
Rich's commentary.
The new one.
Just to hear Rich's commentary on it. Like, yeah.
Look at him, he's getting turned into Venom.
Yeah.
Thinks he's beating him.
I think, You know why the first film is so good though?
Hugo Weaving, it is like
It's an underdog story, isn't it? Thomas Anderson is a nobody. He's got nothing going on in his life. He's a complete nobody. He's then told he's going to be the one.
That's how the best movies start, though.
Yeah. And then they tell him, "You're not the one." Morpheus believes it, and then there's a bit where you think, "Oh fuck, he's dead."
Yeah.
And then that hallway, he comes back up, and there's that moment you're like, everyone's like, "Yes!"
And he sees the code and stuff. Yeah,
it's so good. Great. It's so good. Like
it is good.
And again, there's that bit where like
angel wings.
Yeah.
Look at this guy. Hugo Weaving needs a poop.
Yeah. No.
It can't be.
It is funny, but like this isn't. This is just enjoyable.
That's happening in the real world.
Yeah, that's the only bit I never understood.
Well, that's the thing. That's what was so interesting. Like at the end of Reloaded, where Neo stops the Sentinels, doesn't he?
I don't remember this.
Well, that is what they're called, isn't it? Those weird like things that go through the tunnels.
Yeah. And there's that.
But that's probably the base reality thing. So like.
Base reality.
So like the world with all the Sentinels and it's all fucked up and they're going down the rabbit hole and all that stuff.
Okay. Like, there's this idea of how connected to the machine world is Neo, which is just a great another whole thing that people have discussed for decades now since the films came out.
That's crazy.
People have been like, how much of a connection did Neo have to the machines? And could he stop the machines in the real world? Like maybe.
Well, he does the EMP, doesn't he? He kind of.
He survives the EMP, yeah.
He does that, doesn't he? He throws like a charge out.
Yeah.
Unless it's a matrix within a matrix. I don't know.
Super Inception-y. Like,
who knows?
I mean, like now that is a great film.
Yeah, I think that's for maybe another time.
Yeah, that is another one you can just go down the rabbit hole talking about.
Yeah, What is that? The Edith Piaf song. Like just playing
we'll have to do a whole Nolan session.
Oh my god,
the Nolan verse.
I think so. Hey, check it out. It's the architect.
Yeah.
Will Ferrell.
You know the other film that ruins it is I think it's Scary Movie 3 when they do a spoof of it. With the architect, and that's classic as well. It just completely rips
the Oracle. Love the Oracle.
The crap out of the series.
Yeah.
But they changed the actress, didn't they, with the Oracle?
Well, she died, I think.
Oh, is that right?
I think, yeah.
Okay.
I think she passed away, so they had to write something in to change it, which is sad. Kind of like, well,
the architect.
I was going to say it's kind of like what they did with Fantastic Beasts, except it was just they had to change Johnny Depp because Johnny Depp was not in vogue at that point.
Yeah.
Which may or may not have changed by the time this video comes out. So yeah, he may be back in vogue, but yeah.
God knows. Yeah, he's not Grindelwald anymore, is he?
He's not. Who's Mads Mikkelsen is, which is great.
It's great.
I don't know. I thought Johnny Depp looked pretty cool.
I think he did, but I mean, because then he was Coral Farrell? Colin Farrell.
Coral Farrell.
Coral Farrell.
Yeah.
Colin Farrell in the first film, Johnny Depp in the second film. I think it's kind of cool that it's now Mads Mikkelsen in the third film. You know, it's the man of many faces.
Colin Farrell was the first Grindelwald.
Well, he was disguised as Grindelwald. He was Grindelwald in disguise, wasn't he?
You need to watch.
Yeah. He was. Yeah. Am I wrong?
No,
you've seen Fantastic Beasts.
I've seen the first one. I haven't seen the recent ones.
I haven't seen. Yeah, no, I've seen it.
Oh my god, he was. No way.
I don't. Yeah, I'm not lying.
Oh yeah, he was disguised. Yeah.
Exactly what I just said.
Yeah, sorry man.
Exactly what I just said.
You're completely right.
You need to see
because he was like a detective, like a police. He was an aura.
He was part of MACUSA. Yeah.
Yeah.
You need to watch him in the new Batman.
And then he just
he
changes
and
he's
got
unrecognisable.
He looks just chilling.
Who's this?
Colin Farrell.
He's
in the new Batman film, and you wouldn't.
We've not seen it, have we?
We haven't. But then you guys haven't seen The Matrix Resurrection, so.
Oh, I absolutely love the new Batman film.
Can you make me excited about the new Batman film?
It's incredible. It to me, it's like everything a comic book fan of Batman would love. He's being a detective. He's doing what Batman should be doing. You know, it's got this sort of crime noir feel about it. It's very David Fincher and. Yeah. It's a brilliant thriller.
You know what someone said? There was a review I saw where someone said that basically the Dark Knight, the Christopher Nolan trilogy, was like Batman as an adult. And what Matt Reeves, the
Yeah.
director?
Yeah.
Matt Reeves did with the Batman
Batman
is
films.
it's Batman like as an adolescent.
Yeah,
Yeah.
well,
It's
that's
like
basically it.
Batman
like
as like Kurt Cobain basically.
Yeah.
like,
It's like only a few years.
Yeah, so it's
after.
so it's like 2 years into
So he's
him
like
being Batman.
Super aggressive.
yeah.
So the police know about him. Gotham knows about him. He's established as Batman, but he's still in his infancy as a vigilante. And like,
Yeah.
so the police, they allow him to come to crime scenes and everything, but in the film they show they're uneasy about it because
Yeah.
he's breaking the law being a vigilante, isn't he? And then it's but they kind of let it go because he's getting the results, isn't he?
Yeah.
He's bringing criminals to justice and whatnot. But there's a great chemistry there of him and Gordon, and obviously Gordon trusts him, he trusts Gordon.
Yeah.
It shows,
Which is Jeffrey Wright, isn't it?
who's amazing in it
Felix
as well.
Leiter from the James Bond films, the recent James Bond films. Yeah.
And it's just well shot.
No way.
And
I love that guy.
Yeah.
Have you watched Westworld?
Yes.
I haven't
Yeah,
seen
yeah.
this one.
Yeah.
Bernard.
Bernard, that's it. Yeah.
Sorry, mate.
That's right.
Go on.
No, it's just. I mean, I thought it was incredible. I'm a
do wanna watch it.
I'm a
Someone-
fanboy because I love Batman. You know?
Someone said to me it's kind of like Seven
Yeah,
mixed with Batman.
yeah.
And then like
That
Paul
sounds
Dano,
so
like,
good.
Yeah,
It
it
is
sounds
good.
so good.
And-
Like a kind of like horror movie, like
It's-
not horror, but like thrillery.
Yeah.
Batman that's actually kind of a bit.
And I
scary.
remember watching I love trailers. Trailers are like my favourite thing. I could watch trailers all day. Lucy hates it because she thinks it's ruining the film. But like, I think the Inception trailer is one of my favourite trailers
That was a
of all
good trailer.
time. I
That
do
was
love it. But I remember watching the trailer and there were a couple of things. One was like the music they used was like a version of Something in the Way by Nirvana, which is just the most kind of like I don't know, like weirdly depressing song, but also kind of like bleak
Kind of
and
epic.
Yeah, epic. Yeah.
Yeah.
And Colin Farrell just looking like
You wouldn't recognise him.
I remember like
plays Penguin in it.
Well, I saw like a video of like all the
prosthetics and stuff.
Well,
yeah.
he's not quite Penguin in it. It's not spoiling it.
He's Oz, isn't he?
He's
Yeah.
Osmond
Cobblepot.
That's it. I should know that. Yeah. It's kind of before he becomes what we know to be as the Penguin and all that. But yeah, amazing performance, and he's great in it. It's not just like he doesn't look unrecognizable. Like his performance in it is also really good.
Okay.
Right? Yeah, it's a fantastic.
Yeah.
And then the other thing I
You
remember
need to
seeing in the
see
trailer was the new, because the Batmobile I think is as much of a character as
But
Batman.
it always is in a Batman film. It's a big part of Batman.
But I love that they've basically made it a trophy truck. It's just one of those like absolutely crazy Red Bull type vehicles. And it's just like the bit where he blows through the cars and it's just like
I feel like if you're making
yeah.
if you're making a Batman film, it's a bit like James Bond. You've got to have the best gadget in the new film, right? Yeah.
Well,
so,
yeah.
So like with a Batman film, Christopher Nolan did it brilliantly by
Tumbler,
making
yeah.
it a tank essentially.
Yeah.
It was brilliant because
He's
it was
driving a
realistic.
black tank.
Yeah. And it was no one had ever seen anything like it. You wouldn't think that would be the Batmobile. So it was the complete opposite of what you thought. And
It's
then
got spinny wheels.
Yeah.
and he's like able to fly on rooftops of it and stuff. It's just brilliant. And then in this film, it's more like a little muscle car.
Yeah.
I say little, but it's more like it's a muscle compared to the Tumbler. Anything's small, isn't it?
Yeah.
Well, he's not He's not got Morgan Freeman.
Lucius
Well,
Fox.
that's
yeah.
it. Yeah.
Fox, yeah. Sort it
So
out.
it's more of like a sports car that. He's
But does
kind
it
of put
does
some
it
armour
feel like
plating
more?
on.
I hope it feels more realistic.
Yeah,
Like a
definitely.
greater verisimilitude.
What's the
No, definitely.
What's the car? Is it like
I don't know. I think
like a Charger? Or
I think
something?
it might be a Dodge Charger or something. Yeah, and he's put
I
some
mean, it
armour
looks-
plating on it. It looks a bit
Yeah.
Batman-esque.
Does it have?
It's all
It's got to
black.
have like guns coming out the headlights or something. No.
No, but no. This
It's
no,
just a
no,
car.
no,
It's
no.
Honestly,
just a car.
Have you seen like a trophy truck?
Yeah.
Like there's massive Red Bull like
Yeah.
things. Yeah.
It's
Well,
just
Google
one
it.
of
See if
those.
you bring up the
It's-
new Batmobile.
The thing about guns with Batmobile is it's
Batmobile.
quite a controversial subject with Batman fans because Batman
Yeah.
shouldn't.
Batman doesn't kill
He
people.
doesn't like, and for that reason, he doesn't like guns.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, in the Christopher Nolan films, he does have the guns on his Tumbler and on his bike.
I found
Yeah.
the Lego one.
But it's more to get rid of obstructions and things.
Yeah.
In the Zack Snyder films, they show him using the guns to kill people and stuff, and that was completely out of character for that.
Was that Ben
Affleck.
Ben Affleck, yeah.
Yeah, and that's a shame. No, they don't. He
Oh,
doesn't.
cool.
Yeah, he doesn't have guns or anything.
Yeah.
It's
That's a Charger, no?
yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
That
that's
is
really
awesome.
cool.
It really reminds me of that film. It might be one of these old 70s films like Charles Bronson, and he's like...
Yeah.
It's the one.
What with
The guy with the moustache, the guy that does all the old...
Oh, what you mean? Smokey and the Bandit.
Yeah.
Burt Reynolds. Yeah.
But it might be.
Burt Reynolds.
Yeah. And he's got like the cars and all that. And
Yeah.
That kind of
Petrol
like.
head.
Yeah, that's sort of like he's a vigilante. He's got.
But again, that
car
kind of realism. Christopher Nolan did a lot of sort of suspension of disbelief. Like, you know, you have to sort of.
It's realistic in its own way.
In like the third Christopher Nolan, the Dark Knight Rises, when he's got, you know, the flying Batmobile.
Yeah.
Like that's super. That's like technology that doesn't exist. But by the sounds of things, the Matt Reeves Batman film, everything in it could happen.
Yeah, it's more grounded. But then it's funny that because when the Nolan films came out, everyone was like, "Oh yeah, this Batman's more grounded." So it's kind of like they've continued that trend.
I mean, that's because when you think back to who was the original Batman, what was his name?
Well, you had Adam West.
Adam West. So those Batman, like the TV show and stuff, where he'd like his belt could do everything.
Oh yeah, it was
everything he ever needed conveniently was in this one belt.
I love those films.
And I mean, but I also there was the one where like he
and that series.
I remember there was one where like he's like they're stuck at the bottom of this big hole and they've got a rope but they can't get it up there. And he's like, I learned this Indian trick from a shaman, and he makes the rope just float up there. And it's just like,
well, there's a
a
great moment in the actual film they made of the Adam West Batman series where he's got this bomb and he's trying
I was
to
just
throw
going to
it.
say, mate, I was just going to say about the bomb.
It.
And it's on like a dock,
Yeah.
isn't it? And he's like trying to run with his bomb.
And he's like, sometimes you just can't throw a bomb away.
Yeah, sometimes you just can't get rid of a bomb. And
Yeah, that's it, yeah.
Like, there's like a family here, there's like, you know, like a fishmonger over there, and he's just like running around with his bomb. It's like the cartoon bomb, isn't it? And it's just got like
it's
like a sparkler in the top of it.
Yeah.
And he's just running around, and then like I think he ends up like chucking it in the sea or whatever. But like
amazing.
What's cool about that though?
The evolution of the bat.
The evolution of the bomb.
And that was a very slapstick, campy style of a film, like
Campy
of Batman.
is the word.
Yeah.
And the reason for that is because back in the 1940s, the comics were dark. They were very dark. And then what happened I think it might have been the late 50s going into the 60s, they had to change the code of what comics were allowed to show. They weren't allowed to have violence anymore. They weren't allowed to have...
Well, they would have been like TV movies, right? They wouldn't have been like...
There was like radio plays back. And there was like... Actually, Adam West isn't the first live-action Batman. I think there was like a TV serial way back.
Yeah.
He's the one that everyone remembers. And there was a radio play as well. But comics weren't allowed when you got to the 60s to have violence anymore. They had to be a bit more colourful.
Yeah.
Okay. They had to be anti-drugs. They had to have a message for
kids.
Yeah. And that's why when you watch the Adam West series, there's a bit where, like, for example, there'll be bits where, like, they'll park up and Robin will be like, oh, there's no time to pay for the parking meter. And then, like, Adam West, would turn to Robin and say,
hey,
there's always time.
There's always time.
And it's this idea of giving kids
taxes.
a message. Yeah, pay your
for parking.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
Pay your taxes, pay for parking.
Capitalist.
Police are great.
And that's what the Adam West Batman was. It was that kind of era, that's what the comics were as well. They were a reflection of
That's
that.
almost like an Immanuel Kant kind of thing. There's the super strict moral code. If Batman and Robin are on their way to save someone's life and they stop to pay for parking, it's like
or they stop at red lights.
Yeah, like Immanuel Kant, he
it's
said,
like a mega emergency.
There was this idea
Never
of the
run
man
red
who
lights.
there's the idea of the man who breaks into a pharmacy to get medicine for his dying wife, and it's like a life is saved but a window is broken. Like Immanuel Kant initially was kind of like, you shouldn't break the window because that's bad. Whereas actually, if you look at the net good things, that's what you should do. But the idea that Batman and Robin stop to pay for their parking,
it's brilliant. Yeah. And I love that. I think that's
is it the thing? I think it's the same one where because the Joker is the most terrifying Joker in the Adam West ones.
Is he?
Terrifying.
I don't remember it.
Played by Caesar Romero, and the hilarious thing is, right, he had a moustache, quite a prominent one. He wouldn't shave it off, so they have to just paint the white makeup on it. So when you watch it, and then with the high def, you can see it.
Oh my god,
it's so bad.
I do remember that.
Yeah.
I remember it being,
and you can see it even before HD, but it's even more prominent now. It's unbelievable.
Let me find it. What would have put Adam West Batman with?
Tell you what, if you want a good thing about if you want a good sort of intro into the Adam West Batman, just watch the actual Batman film that was with Adam West. So they did the TV series and then they did an actual film based on the TV series.
Yeah, this guy's terrifying.
It's worth watching.
This is just an advert with Kaylee Kuko, which is nice, I guess, but...
The Big Bang Theory lady?
Yeah, it is, yeah.
Yeah, look at this guy.
Who is this?
Terrifying.
Is this the original Batman?
Yeah, I think so. Joker playing baseball.
Oh, look at him!
This guy's so frightening.
Yeah, yeah.
That is frightening.
I think it makes it frightening because he's in a prison uniform.
But he's still
Well,
got the
and he's
makeup
still
on.
the Joker, yeah.
And
I
well,
think
that's
what's
it.
frightening is his makeup.
Yes. Oh, yeah, the exploding ball, that's right.
Yeah.
He's just...
He's just gone. He's just sent himself off. Yeah.
There's a great Simpsons reference. To
This is great. This
the
is,
Joker,
this is not. This,
which is
this can't be copyrighted anymore. I don't know. Has it been 70 years?
I mean, maybe. I don't know.
Look at him.
Look at
Look,
him. You
look.
see the moustache.
It's incredible.
Oh, my word.
Nowhere, WC Fields. How scary is that?
That is...
He's getting his.
I mean, I could go on for hours about the Joker as a villain. Like, he's an incredible.
Yeah, but this
villain.
one's scary.
It
The
is.
other ones aren't so scary.
Well, I
the,
don't
the
know.
pencil and the table.
I don't know, I
Heath
think-
Ledger's one, terrifying.
Oh,
Heath Ledger's was terrifying.
But this one in more of like a. If
Tommy
you had
Lee
a-
Jones
if
was
you had a
pretty
dream about this
badass.
guy.
Yeah, he was Two-Face.
Tommy
was.
Jones was Two-Face.
Yeah.
Jack Nicholson, that's it, sorry.
Jack Nicholson. Yeah, no, I mean, he set the bar high. Nicholson did. When
Yeah,
he
I'm pretty sure he did like a music video though. Like he's like dancing to some.
Oh no, there's a
Music?
Prince song.
No, but he's like.
Prince
I'm
did.
sure he's got like a radio. And
Oh.
like,
No. It's because Prince did.
Oh yeah,
the
the
theme.
radio had like the bazooka in
Right,
it,
so
didn't it, or something
Prince
like
for the
that?
Tim Burton 1989 Batman film. Prince did the soundtrack.
is it?
And
Is
it's
it
called
the
Bat-
1989 one?
Yeah, and it's called Bat Dance, and the Joker comes in with a boombox. Nicholson does.
Yeah.
And they rob the place. It's so bizarre. It's so Tim
Was that just
Burton.
called the Bat... Or was it called Batman?
It's just
or?
called Batman. Yeah.
Batman, yeah.
Yeah,
With
not
Michael
the-
Keaton.
Yeah.
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 Again,
And Michelle Pfeiffer?
no, that was Batman Returns. Michael Keaton still, Tim Burton still directing, but yeah, the
Guys, this
sequel.
is quite scary.
You can call me Joker.
Yeah, Nicholson was good. He set the bar high.
Nicholson just is good though.
Yeah.
Isn't he?
It's the hat as well. It gives it that whole kind of, gangster feel. And
Thank God you're alive.
Is that what you heard? Set me up over a woman.
God.
No way, this is great.
yeah.
Must be insane.
His voice is so good.
Yeah.
Is it in the is it Bad Neighbours? That film where they're like talking about who their
Favourite
who
Batman
the
was.
who the Batman was
Yeah.
for them. Kind of like how like who's your James Bond?
And Seth Rogen's like Keaton's his.
Yeah.
And then yeah. And they're both doing different impressions, aren't they?
I'm Batman. And then Zac Efron's like,
Where is she?
where is she? Michael Keaton's like, hey, I'm Batman. Hey, I'm Batman.
What didn't they say? Because I read some of the trivia on the Batman, the new Matt Reeves one, and they were saying it's the first film where they've addressed the black eye makeup underneath. Like, so actually, when he takes the mask off, he looks really in the trailers. Like, he looks really emo
Yeah.
and stuff.
Yeah.
Which kind of like sort of plays into the whole Kurt Cobain kind of
Yeah. No, it looked really cool.
Look at this guy.
Look at him.
But there's a bit where he like dances. Hang on. Batman Joker like dancing.
Fun fact as well. We can look this up on
He's
IMDb.
shooting this guy.
Um,
I think
Jack
it's this.
Nicholson,
Yeah, it's
Joker
the museum
Museum
dance.
dance.
so Jack Nicholson was the highest paid actor because of this film for
Yeah.
years.
Yeah.
He negotiated such a ridiculous salary from it.
Yeah.
It wasn't beaten until like 10
Mel
years later.
Gibson or something,
Something
yeah.
ridiculous like that. It was a huge amount of money.
Oh my god.
This is great. You'd never open a
Who's she? Is
weird
that Sharon
box that
Stone?
says
No.
Urgent.
You wouldn't, would you? No.
A gas mask. Who's she?
Okay, but,
It's not Kate Beckinsale.
no, it's not.
No,
It's
it's not.
Wait.
Yes.
she plays Vicky Vale.
Who's Vicky
What?
Vale?
She's the character that she's playing. That's who
Oh,
it
right.
is. It's gonna come to me in a second.
Oh, the purple smoke.
Yeah, I love that Purple Smoke. That's cool. It's a Prince reference. Purple Smoke.
Purple
Yeah.
rain. We may have to edit this bit out because we're not really talking at the moment. We're just watching the Batman.
Yeah, that's cool. This might be like like a toilet break maybe. Who
Yeah.
knows?
And now a word from our sponsors.
Yeah. Yeah. Word.
I love that it looks like his face is permanently
Yeah.
stuck in that grin.
That's
But
the
he
thing.
did-
He's kind of like Brandoed himself. Hasn't
yeah,
he? With, like,
the cotton wool.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my
But But this
God,
bit, I remember
look
watching
at
this.
him.
I was like,
So clownish.
And like it's
So
ridiculous, really. But
"It's fucking stupid."
Yeah.
But it's so good. Yeah, they're like spray painting over all the art.
there you go, it's Prince.
Oh, yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, purple
Yeah.
smoke, purple suit.
We're definitely going to get copyrighted for this.
No.
Did you remember though?
It is really clownish, like-
before this film as well, the only superhero films before this had been the Superman films. Right.
What, Jack
Which
Nicholson?
ones? The Christopher Reeves ones?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then after that, there wasn't really anything.
I just thought, yeah, that there was a great one where like his like Lois is like going over a cliff or something in a canyon.
Yeah.
And then he like literally flies around the world.
Yeah, it
The
changes
world.
time backwards and stuff. Yeah.
So then people's only perception of superhero films in like, Batman was Adam West, and then this came along and it was... I mean, if you want to watch a good thing, watch the intro with when Michael Keaton comes out as the Batman, the first scene of this film,
Yeah.
and it's incredible. I mean, it just set the tone.
Can we do it after our first break of the evening?
Yeah.
Can we
That's
call it?
great.
Can we just call that it?
Should we just call it?
Just for a night?
How long have we done? 50
We've done
minutes?
50 minutes. I think that's nice.
Perfect.
I think we've not
That's
challenged people too much. We've talked a lot about The Matrix. We've talked a little bit about Batman. And I desperately want to do it more. But
Yeah.
Today as well. That's
This
pretty
is
good.
great. I mean, yeah, it's
that was fun.
hopefully
If
if anyone
you-
listens to it, yeah.
If you
cool.
like this, please consider subscribing.
Yeah.
And what do you want to talk about next time? What should we talk
Um,
about? I want to talk. Well, Nolan.
Well, yeah, we said Nolan,
So
like
much stuff.
Inception.
Could do a Nolan episode.
We could
Yeah.
do a Nolan episode.
That
To
would be
start
good.
with, do you know what Christopher Nolan's first film was called? Doodlebug. It's
Doodlebug.
3 minutes long.
Oh yeah.
It's like an MC.
I've heard
Like,
this.
his film school. Like
That's his first feature. What was Memento?
His first feature film was called Following.
Following. Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
See, I like to think of myself as a
Something I need
Nolan
to
fan,
watch.
but I've never seen Memento. I've never seen... What's the other one? Insomnia? Did you?
Insomnia.
I've
Yeah.
never seen
yeah.
that one. I've
Insomnia is
The
great.
Prestige.
I've seen-
I love
oh,
The Prestige.
The
I
Prestige
love-
is
I've
great.
seen
The
The
Prestige is
Prestige.
one of Lucy's favourite films. She
One of my
loves that.
favourite films.
Prestige.
David
is
Bowie.
incredible.
David
Oh,
Bowie.
it's
Bowie?
Tesla.
David Bowie has
Tesla.
Tesla. Yeah.
Yeah.
Amazing.
The Prestige is an
Right.
incredible film.
Yeah, and Tom York, the soundtrack at the end.
I
See,
think
we're already talking about Christopher Nolan. That's how much we can't wait to do it.
I think probably, we've spoken a lot about films that
Well, you
one
know
of
what?
us has seen.
Yeah,
We should
go and do some homework.
Yeah,
We should all
probably
go
watch
properly do our
a
homework.
film
Each one of us
that
should
we've
watch...
all seen. Right? So we've all seen it.
Yeah.
So the next time we can come back and just
Let's-
dissect it. It'd be great.
Let's each go and watch a Nolan film this week
Yeah.
between this and the next podcast
Tenet?
or something.
No,
I
see
love
Tenet.
Tenet.
Yeah, you like that film?
I did.
Robert Pattinson was good in it.
Yeah,
It was.
But I
Actually,
didn't finish it. I got really bored.
You
Did
think,
you really?
Yeah, I
the
got
thing-
bored when they did the the thing where they go into the
turnstile.
the turnstile thing, then they come out the other end.
It's
and I was
very...
like, right.
I still don't understand it all, but I love
don't
it.
know. I think it might have been lockdown when I watched it, or it
It's
might
not-
have been when I didn't have much time. I remember
Mm.
getting to that bit, and I was like, too much for me.
It's
Sorry,
not my
see you
favourite
later.
Nolan film,
No.
if I'm honest. And I can
think,
see why
yeah,
people
yeah.
get confused by it. I think what lets it down is there's no Hans Zimmer soundtrack. It's not that the soundtrack's bad, it's just that it's missing that epicness that is
Yeah.
Hans Zimmer. I
I'll
think.
tell you what's my favourite Christopher Nolan film. Interstellar.
I love that film.
Interstellar's
Interstellar.
cool.
Interstellar was the
Yeah.
film that nearly got me thrown out of the Phoenix Cinema in Falmouth.
Why?
Well,
Yeah.
I'll tell you about it on the next episode.
Oh, there you
cool.
go. That's a good
Okay,
little cliffhanger
well,
for you.
what a cliffhanger that
Listeners, viewers.
Doom.
What did Rich do?
Yeah. What did Rich do at the cinema?
Should we call it that?
Let's call it.
Peace
Yeah.
out.
Cheers, guys.
Cheers.
Chin-chin.
Cheers.
Right on. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.